Welcome on board the brand new Beneteau First 27, the biggest of the new First fleet. My name is Tit Pleunik and today I will guide you throughout the boat. The boat is building on the 40 years Beneteau First famous heritage and it's still staying true to its original promise, delivering modern and accessible sailing experience. New First boats are planning boats, and this is the key difference we would like to show you in this video today. Of course, that does not go on the account of safety, neither comfort. The boat perfectly works in the family cruising setup, family of 4, maybe even up to 6. You can go out on a day sailing alone or in 2 as a couple. Of course, she will also bring back home trophies from the club races where you will go fully crewed, solo, double-handed, whichever setup you might need. She will again and again surprise you by getting on a plane in as little as 12 knots of wind, as you can see now. And please do take advantage of this 360-degree video virtual reality tour, where we will first check the interior and all the cruising and living on board feature hiding inside this 8-meter pocket cruiser. And then in the second part, we will show you the boat in her natural environment, under the sails, as we are doing right now, and show you how the boat is planning, how the cockpit and ergonomy works. But first, let's jump back to the beginning of the day, back in the marina. So welcome inside of the First 27. The boat is having all key amenities for comfortable and cozy cruising for up to 4 persons. So we have a separated front cabin, there is a galley with freshwater tank, huge open space saloon with a table, there are 2 more berths in the stern, and we even have a classic marine toilet in the completely separated room. So in the next couple of minutes I will explain you all of these features. But first I would like to touch a little bit about the philosophy, how we were designing this interior. So all the time we were really weight sensitive. So we really wanted to make sure that the interior doesn't decrease or kill the sailing potential of the boat, because this is our main promise. So before we touch actual cruising features, some more technical details. Under the stairs there is an inboard engine, Yanmar, with 10 horsepower, with very simple and straightforward shaft drive, so very reliable system. Just above it there is an electrical panel, so the main control panel. The good thing is that it's really easy accessible also from the outside, so once you learn the position of the switches, you can control things from the outside without even looking. First part is a standard 12-volt installation, and then the second part are all the different options you can choose to equip the interior and make the cruising more comfortable. Interior is light, but there is another layer, so most of the equipment it's also modular, with which I mean that you can easily remove it. So for the owners who have some club racing ambitions, there's very easy to even reduce the weight of the boat and save another, let's say, 100 kilos by removing the cushions, tables, magnetic doors and some other equipment. Let's check how the living on board will actually look like. On first, I really like to point out that there's a significant amount of light in this open space saloon. So we have the windows on the side of the hull, but there are also coach roof windows, huge entrance of course, and huge hatch above the midsection, which we will check just after. So in the start I said that the boat can sleep up to 4 adults. So 2 are in the front cabin, which we'll check at the end. And then here on both sides you have 2 more berths where you can really comfortably sleep. So it's quite wide. Keep in mind we are on just 8-meter sailing boat. There is important notice. So the area underneath all 4 berths, it's not a storage place, but these are closed 8 chambers. So this insubmersibility area is making this boat unsinkable, which is really an important safety feature of this boat. However, the fact that these areas under the berths are closed doesn't mean that there is not sufficient amount of storage space. So here under berths on both sides, you have a lot of area for technical equipment, maybe food and drinks. Of course, we were also thinking about the personal belongings, but we didn't solve it in a traditional way. So usually in the interior of traditional boats, you will find wooden drawers or closets. So we designed this removable crew bags. The idea is that you can really easily take these bags off. You take them home. So when you come on board, you just simply hang them, and that's how you avoid really annoying repacking either in the car or in the boat, or sliding bags which are moving around when you're sailing and making damage in the interior. So the central part of the boat is taken by the foldable table. It can be half extended like now, or also fully extended. It's fixed with the screw in the center, which is not a typical way how these tables are usually attached. But the thing is that because there is no support underneath, you can really easily move in the interior even if the table is open. So believe me, your knees will be grateful. Under the port bench, there is an ice box by standard, which can be upgraded with a proper cooling panel and a compressor installed in the back of the boat. So all the cruising features you really need are just at hand. So at this point, I will move the point of view just in front of the mast support, and we will check the midsection of the boat, because despite really small place, basically a little bit more than 1 square meter, there are many different modes how you can use this area. So first, the most obvious use of the midsection of the boat is the passage to the front cabin, the obvious one, and of course the galley. So the galley is having the sink with freshwater system. The same freshwater tank is also used for the shower on the stern. There is a single gas burner, handy storage place in behind, and of course there is additional storage place just underneath the galley, where you will find enough space for all the kitchen equipment. For next mode of the area, I will move your point of view on the galley, so you will have the complete view of the room. Just behind the foldable magnetic doors, we've placed the proper marine toilet. So when you close the doors to the front cabin and to the saloon, you get a completely private space for the toilet. I agree this area where the toilet is placed is really small, but by closing the doors, you gain extra room and complete privacy when you're using the toilet. Just above you, there is huge hatch, so there is sufficient ventilation, and of course, if needed, you could even stand up. In the corner, we place the custom-built black water tank, so it's really built completely up to the regulations. So now we'll move to the front cabin. The last mode of this midsection is actually extension of the front cabin, because I can close the toilet completely. That's very important, because this is the place where I will sleep, and I can close the doors towards the saloon, so I gain complete privacy. The front cabin can offer 2 decent berths, so I'm pretty tall and can really comfortably sleep here. If I will be actually sleeping here, I can easily move out these 2 additional crew bags, which are for the personal belongings in the front cabin. And then there are 2 more things, which is all the way in the bow if you turn around. So there is the anchor locker, where you store the anchors, a quite important cruising feature, of course accessible from the deck. And there is inspection hatch to the crash box, which is really rare safety feature on this size of the boat. As you can see, there are many details and unique solutions which are enabling that you can really comfortably cruising on this 8-meter boat. I don't know if you noticed, but the table which was here in the middle of saloon, I've moved it to the cockpit. One thing is you can see how it's used in the outside, and of course the other main point I would like to make here is this huge open space saloon, Please keep in mind we are just on 8-meter boat, so it's really, I mean, you can really easily and comfortably welcome 4 up or even up to 6 persons inside the boat. So now it's time to go out, leave the marina and hoist the sails. So welcome on board with me today, my colleague Marusha. She will help on the helm and we will show you the first 27 in team of 2. While we'll be leaving the marina, I will explain you some technical details and background of the first 27. So the design team and the naval architect Samuel Manuart designing this boat is having very strong racing background, and this can be seen in many aspects of the boat. So on one hand side, we are using the advanced technology in the production of this boat. So the complete boat is vacuum infused, built in with PVC foam in the core, and this makes the structure of this boat significantly lighter than other boats on the market. And on the other hand side, we are also taking advantage of the keel design, which is providing extremely low center of gravity. So the boat is equipped with a T-bulb LED bottom, LED bulb on the bottom, so that really on 1.70 m draft, and that really put the center of gravity of the boat very low. Additionally, the hull of the boat is really marked with the very strong chines all along the bow, which are very low above the water, and that makes this boat extremely wide on the waterline compared to the width of the boat higher up, and this gives the hull really good initial stability. So it gives you some more time before it's really starting heeling more and this is huge advantage compared to the round hull shapes, and of course really proves in the downwind sailing because the flat hull gives you a lot of planning potential, but we'll get there. Secondly, the boat is having increased bow volume. This is also something from racing boats can be seen, you know, the scout designs. We're not in such extreme yet, but the increased volume of the boat gives you much more dry sailing experience, and of course helps you get through over the waves. So the boat is really not nose diving. So because of all mentioned, so the safety. Safety which is coming from the initial hull stability, keel stability provided from the keel, and increased volume of the boat. The handling of this boat is very easy. This goes especially thanks to twin rudders. We'll check them in details later, also in downwind section. But mentioning all together, this boat is really ticking all the boxes which are crucial for comfortable and relaxed sailing. So it can be cruising, it can be day sailing, whichever mode you are in. It really gives you feeling of safety and perfect control. So because of all mentioned safety features, design features, how this boat is built, this boat is having a B category, there are very few boats with the B category in this length on the market, and this is the final proof that also the international boat building standards support what I'm just saying. So before we leave out to the marina, I would also like to touch the rig. So the boat is equipped with aluminum Selden mast, boom, retractable bowsprit in the front. In the standard configuration of the boat, you have very handy and practical furling jib and the mainsail on the sliders. So what we'll do today, we will have a First, an upwind part where I will explain you how the cockpit area works, so how were we thinking about ergonomy, and prove you how easy is this boat to handle in two. And then, of course, there comes the fun part. So after we will hoist the furling gennaker, and during the downwind planning, I will explain you why this boat is really give you perfect control, which are all the safety features which I didn't mention yet, and hopefully give you the clear idea and sailing experience of the first 27. So, welcome on the water on this magnificent day. We have 10-12 knots of wind, gusting up to maybe 15 from time to time, so just ideal to show what this boat is built for. But let me first open the jib. And we turn off the engine. There, very nice. So on this upwind part, I would like to show you how the ergonomy and handling of all the controls in the cockpit area works. And we were really thinking carefully how we positioned deck equipment and all the controls, because we are well aware that the boat needs to work in different setups. Like we are just in two at the moment. Of course, you will be sailing fully crewed, and from time to time you will be also sailing alone. But before I show you how it works, as you can see, we really have, I mean, it's quite spacious cockpit area, open on the stern, and then in the central part you have the benches for more comfortable living, and this is where you spend most of your time when in the boat. So let me show you how I would sail this boat if I would be alone. May I, Marusha? Thank you. So in the back here, behind, on my left hand, you have the mainsail traveler, and also then I can easily have also the main sheet here on my knee if I would need it. Then at the moment the jib is on the lee side. If I would have a longer solo single-handed tack, I would then cross-seat the jib here on the windward winch. And the number of ropes is really minimum that you need to control all the sails and the controls. And where needed, we added extra purchases. So like for example the vang, and so you're having a lot of force. I mean, it's light, but you generate a lot of force because of all the purchases. For all the control lines on the coach roof, there are two dedicated winches. And like I said, from here I'm in reach of all the mainsail and other controls. Because the rudders are well balanced, I can easily leave them. I can easily leave the tiller for a while. I can go down, trim the jib. You have a nice downhauler with again a lot of purchase. So even if the jib is fully powered, I can easily close the leech line, and the jib is having a dedicated set of winches. Enjoy! So you've just saw how the ergonomy and controls are working for single-handed or double-handed as we are sailing now. But the best thing is that we were really thinking about how this would work also for fully crewed setup, and you can see that this cockpit is really more than big enough for that. I think that at the end, at least one or two sailors will end up in my favorite position for cruising, because you can really find yourself a comfortable position here for some longer cruisings. When I say single-handed or double-handed, don't misunderstand me. I'm really not meaning racing, right? Going for the afternoon sail alone, the boat is really built to offer you that. Or if you go with a couple or as a family, I mean, having kids on board when they're still smaller, that's best case double-handed. On this point, I would like to point out another detail. I'm not sure if you notice it, but the bottom diagonal is moved inside, not attached on the outside of the hull, and this is not so common on this side of the boat. But of course, it gives you great advantage of very easily moving forward and backward without any climbing. If I return back to the cockpit, few more things to say. So the volume under the benches is not the interior, but is storage space accessible from outside. So that's where you will store all your fenders and marine ropes. Gas bottle is also in this area, and so. So I've just hoisted the furling gennaker, get everything ready. And before we open the gennaker, I would just like to point out one thing, that in this upwind part, we were simply sailing at the displacement speed of the boat, nothing really sensational, except of course you have full control of the boat, everything is on place, forces are low and so. But actually the real fun and the main potential and the main promise and the difference of the first 27 can be best shown in downwind sailing, because that's where the boat is exceeding the displacement speed and it starts planning. So let me show you how this works out. Okay, let's bear away a bit. Okay, so like I said, easily you can unfurl everything from the cockpit. Okay, I'll furl the jib. Sorry. And so on this point, for the downwind part, I will invite you on the stern, because from the stern we can best see what I will talk about. So welcome on the stern. From here you can best see what is main and best promise of the Beneteau First 27, and this is planning downwind. If you look to the back, it's about 15-16 knots of the wind, and with the full main and the fractional furling gennaker, we are doing about 9 knots at the moment. So definitely planning. You can see that it's really easy going sailing, right? I'm actually doing nothing but talking, and Marusha is having everything perfectly under control. And that's where we come back to the start, right? When we were talking about the hull shape, right? So the leeward chine, it's really sitting in the water, and this is what we called on before this initial hull stability at low heeling angles. So at the moment the boat really nicely sits on this chine, and of course, then it comes the keel. Then it comes the keel, which is having very low center of gravity, and it's giving us huge stability. So both together, it's really perfect and safe platform. I will come to safety next. But just before, all this is nothing if you don't have control over the boat. And here we come to the twin rudders. So they are angled a bit, and because the hull is wide on the water line, that means that one comes partly out of the water, as you can see now, in this nice gust, and then the lee side, the lee rudder blade, is always vertical in the water with perfect and full control. So as you can see, I mean, it's nothing spectacular except that we are doing 10 knots of speed and having perfect control. So as one of the last things I would like to touch in our sailing trip, it's safety, right? In many times throughout the video I was referring that this boat is really safe. And of course, as said a few times now, stability first thing. We cannot say that the boat is safe if it's not stable. And I think that with this fantastic sailing and planning downwind, we are definitely proving it. Secondly, of course, there is also a few other features that the boat is having, right? So it's unsinkable with 3 separated insubmersibility chambers, altogether 3 cubic meters. And please don't forget, on the start we said that the light craft condition, basically the weight of the boat as we have it now more or less, is 1,700 kilograms. So really safe. Even if you blow one chamber, you stay afloat. Plus that there is foam in the sandwich construction, so this is by default also floating. All the way in the front, something really from racing world, but still very good thing to have, crash box. So if you will go for some night sailings and so, or some more longer cruisings and so, in case you hit something, there is the crash box in the bow. I already mentioned the bow volume, which is increased bow volume, which is at the end, of course, for the obvious effect is that the hull, the deck is dry, right? We are actually having some swell here, but you can see that there is no water coming over the deck. And then, of course, regarding safety, this boat is almost impossible to nosedive because it lifts up the bow. And when we add to that already mentioned twin rudders and the complete control you have, B category of the boat, this is for sure one of the safest boats on the market in its length category. One of the last details here on the stern is also the bathing ladder. It's just below from your viewing point. It's all the time there, so you can very easily open it, and it can be opened also from the water. So on one hand side, it's a cruising feature for going swimming, but at the same time it's also reboarding equipment. So for the end, I would just like to say one more thing, that planning downwind is way safer and of course much more fun than rolling at the displacement speed, right? On displacement boats, when the wind picks up, all this energy ends up more or less in rolling. Here it's transferred to speed, and that's what gives you control. You can choose your wave in between the waves. You're basically faster than the waves, and that gives you, I mean, uncomparable, much more fun, and of course much more safety. So before I finish, we'll just do a short jibe so we don't go too much out when the wind is picking up even more and the sun is getting down. So a short jibe and I'll be back. So from your position you can also see the way how the Jenneker trim was designed. So I always had the Jenneker on the windward. So Marusha, I'm ready. So, nothing spectacular. And in the meantime, the wind picked up on 20 knots, so easy handling. So in the start of this video, I said that this 7th incarnation of famous first range is bringing modern, safe and fun sailing experience to everybody. So make it as accessible as possible. And I hope and I'm certain that this video and this walkthrough proved some of our main points. And I hope it was interesting. This is one of the safest boats on the market, safer than most of the boats in the length category, and at the same time faster and much more fun. So all in all, I really think this is an ultimate pocket cruiser, all crab racer, both in one boat. And of course, being a sailor, I cannot miss the opportunity to enjoy this ride until the sun goes down. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like the tour and of course our new Beneteau First 27. Enjoy and fair winds. May I? Sure. Oh.